my daughter-in-law shouted. "Pay the rent or leave my house right now." I walked away without saying anything. I was smiling inside because she didn't know something important. This house belonged to me. I had already sold it for $900,000 without telling anyone. When moving day came, she called me crying and scared. What I told her changed everything. This is my story about standing up for myself. Before I continue, please click the subscribe button and tell me in the comments what country you're watching from right now. I carried my shopping bags through the back door, breathing hard. The bags were heavy with things I bought from the store. I got fresh strawberries because my son Michael loved them. I got the special cheese that Lisa talked about wanting last week. I got chocolate cookies for dessert. Little things to make them happy. I walked into my own kitchen and stopped. Everything looked different. My favorite teapot that I used every morning was gone from the counter. My recipe books that belonged to my mother were missing from the shelf. Instead, Lisa's fancy coffee machine sat where my things used to be. Her glass containers filled the cabinets. Her pictures covered the walls. My comfortable old kitchen table was pushed into the corner. Her new glass table stood in the middle of the room like it owned the space. I felt my heart hurt, but I kept quiet. I put the grocery bags down carefully. Lisa was sitting at her glass table, looking at her phone. She looked up at me for just 1 second, then looked back down. She didn't say hello. She didn't smile. Nothing. I started taking things out of the bags. "Did you buy whole milk again?" Lisa asked without looking up. "I thought you understood we only drink almond milk in this house." I picked up the milk carton and looked at it. "Sorry. Forgot. Just don't waste money on things we don't use, Margaret." Her voice was cold. Kept unpacking. The strawberries, the cheese, the cookies. My hands shook a little. Not because I was sick, just because I felt nervous. I had been to the doctor yesterday. Dr. Chen said my heart was acting funny sometimes. She said we needed to watch it carefully. But I pushed those worries away. Tonight I wanted to cook a nice dinner for my family. I wanted us to feel close again like we used to. Michael came out of the bedroom. He saw me and let out a big sigh like I made him tired. "Mom, we need to have a serious talk." "Okay, honey. Let me just finish putting these away." Right now. This is really important." I stopped what I was doing and turned around to look at my son. His face looked practiced, like he had been thinking about what to say for a long time. "Should I make some tea first? We can sit and talk nicely." "Don't bother with tea. Just come sit down." I followed him to the living room. Lisa closed her laptop and came too. Her face didn't show any feeling. They had planned this talk together. Could tell. "Let me just start cooking dinner first," I said, trying to make things feel normal. "It will only take 30 minutes. After we talk," Michael said firmly. So I sat down in my old chair. The one chair they let me keep. Michael stood up straight with his hands behind his back like he was giving a speech at work. "Mom, this whole situation isn't working anymore. You live here without paying anything. You use our water and electricity. You take up space. Starting next month, we need you to pay us $1,500 every month for rent. Or you need to move out and find your own apartment." The cookie I had been holding fell from my hand onto the floor. I stared at it lying there broken. "This is my house," I said very quietly. "I bought it with my own money. Painted every wall. Actually, Mom, we all live here together." Michael's voice sounded like he was talking to a little child. "Everyone needs to help pay for things. It's only fair." I turned to look at Lisa. She was staring at the table, drawing circles with her finger. She wouldn't look at me. "Lisa, do you think this is right?" Yes. Her eyes finally met mine. What I saw there hurt worse than Michael's words. She looked at me like I was a stranger. Like I didn't matter. "Margaret, we have bills to pay too." "Just business. Nothing personal. Business." I repeated the word. Tasted bitter in my mouth. "I'm your mother-in-law. I helped you when you had nowhere to go. We're all adults here, Mom." Michael leaned forward with his hands flat on the table. "This is just how life works. So what's your answer?" The living room felt too small suddenly. This was the room where we celebrated my granddaughter's first birthday before she moved away for college. This was where Michael told me he was getting married. This was where I sat alone after my husband died, crying into my hands. My room, my table, my house. I need time to think about this, I said. You have until Friday to decide. Michael stood up straight, looking satisfied. $1,500 every month or start looking for a new place to live. I stood up from my chair. My legs felt weak. I held onto the table edge so tight my hands hurt. They both watched me. Michael with that patient look. Lisa still not able to look at my face for more than a second. I walked away from them. I went to the kitchen where the strawberries still sat on the counter, waiting to be washed for a family dinner that would never happen now. I lay in my small bed, looking at the ceiling. I couldn't sleep. I had counted the cracks in the ceiling so many times I knew them all by heart. This room used to be Michael's bedroom when he was a little boy. His superhero posters used to hang on these walls. Now it was where they made me sleep. Outside I heard a car start. I got up and looked out the window. Lisa's white car pulled out of the driveway. Her red back lights disappeared into the dark. It was 6:30 in the morning. She always went to her yoga class at this time. She would be gone for 2 hours. I needed those 2 hours. I got dressed quickly in the same clothes from yesterday. I moved through the quiet house. Nobody was awake yet. No sounds, no lights. Just the gray quiet before the sun came up. I walked to Michael and Lisa's bedroom. My old bedroom. The one I shared with my husband Robert for 32 years. I stopped at the door. My hand hung in the air near the door handle. I knocked softly. Mom. Michael's voice came from inside, sleepy and confused. What time is it? I need to talk to you before Lisa comes back home. A long silence. Then give me a minute. I waited in the hallway. I noticed things I had been too sad to see before. My wedding picture was gone from the wall. My paintings were missing. Instead, Lisa and Michael's vacation photos covered every space. Pictures from their trip to Hawaii. Pictures from their anniversary dinner. Their life was everywhere. Mine was nowhere. The bedroom door opened. Michael stood there in his pajamas, arms crossed, eyes puffy from sleep. Kitchen, he said shortly. He made coffee while I sat at the table. He didn't look at me. He just scooped the coffee, poured the water, and waited for it to drip. Anything to avoid talking to me. Michael, I started. About yesterday. Mom, please. It's too early for this. When is a good time then? When can we talk about my own house? He turned around fast. The coffee pot shook in his hand. That's not fair, Mom. What's not fair? Calling it your house like that. We live here too. Mom, you need to understand something. We have expenses. We have bills. This is just fair. Fair. I leaned back in my chair and looked at his face. When did my own son start looking at me like I was a problem he needed to fix? Charging your own mother rent. You're living in our space, Mom. We're the ones paying to keep this place nice. We're the ones fixing things when they break. Fixing things I never asked you to fix. That's not the point. She poured coffee with angry, quick movements. We're the ones living here, Mom. We're the ones who made it feel like a home again. Again. It was always a home. My home. After Dad died, you just sat here being sad. We brought happiness back to this place. Her words hit me hard like a slap. I sat very still, watching the steam rise from my cup. This house has my name on the papers, I said carefully. The legal papers that say who owns it. Legally, yes. But if you don't like living here with us, you can always find your own apartment. Something smaller. Something easier for you to take care of. He sat down across from me with his coffee cup. This house is too big for just one person anyway. I understood what he was really saying. They wanted me gone. I stopped talking. My mind went back in time. This same kitchen table 4 years ago. Michael sitting where he sat now. But crying then. His face was red and wet with tears. Lisa was next to him, also crying hard. Mom, our apartment building is being torn down. The owner is making everyone leave. We don't have anywhere to go. His voice had been so scared, so desperate. Please, just for a little while. We'll help you. You're still sad about Dad. We'll take care of you. I had still been so sad about Robert dying. Every day felt hard. Everything reminded me that he was gone. Course, I said. Stay as long as you need. Thank you, Mom. We'll help you with everything. We promise. For a little while. Those words echoed in my head now. They sounded empty and fake. I looked at my son across the table. The same boy I raised. But different now. Harder. Colder. When did that happen? When did helping me turn into controlling me? Something in my face must have changed because Michael leaned forward looking worried. Mom, are you okay? Are you feeling sick? I'm fine. I sat up straight. I had made a decision. You're right, Michael. We need to make this official and proper. Relief washed over his face like water. So you'll pay the rent every month. $1,500 every month starting today. I think this is better for everyone, Mom. Really, I do. Pulled out my purse. I had gone to the bank yesterday during my walk and got cash. I counted out the money slowly. $50 bills, $20 bills, $10 bills. All fresh and clean. I put them on the table one at a time. 30 bills total. Michael reached for the money. I didn't move my hand away right away. For a moment, we both touched the pile of cash. I need a receipt, I said. His eyebrows came together in confusion. What? Receipt? Paper that says I paid you this money. Mom, we're family. We don't need that. Then it should be easy to write one. He stared at me, trying to understand what I was thinking. Whatever he saw in my face made him pull out a notepad from the drawer. His hand shook a tiny bit as he wrote. Received $1,500. Rent for June. He wrote the date, signed his name, and pushed the paper across the table to me. I picked up the receipt, folded it very carefully, and put it in my purse behind my driver's license. Proof. Documentation. The first piece of my plan. Michael gathered up all the bills. He couldn't look at my eyes anymore. I should get ready for work. Lisa will be home soon. Of course, I stood up, leaving my coffee untouched on the table. Thank you for the receipt, Michael. He nodded, confused by how I sounded. Too polite. Too controlled. But he accepted it and walked away. I went back to my small room, closed the door, and pulled out the receipt again. I unfolded it and read his signature. Read the date. Read the words that changed everything between us into a business deal. Then I folded it again perfectly and put it away safe. The library was quieter than I thought it would be on a Tuesday afternoon. I had been coming here every day since I paid that first rent money. I filled my notebook with information that nobody at home knew about. That morning at breakfast, Michael barely looked at me when I said I was going out. Library maybe. Or a walk in the park. I said, trying to sound casual. Don't forget the house rules, he said, scrolling on his phone. Home by 7 o'clock if you want dinner. I nodded, swallowing the angry words that burned in my throat. Lisa didn't even look up from her tablet. Now I stood in front of tall shelves full of law books. I had my reading glasses in my shirt pocket and a fresh notepad in my hand. My husband Robert used to say, knowledge is power. You learn things one step at a time. I pulled out big books about property laws, house sales, and tenant rights. I spread them across a corner table and started taking careful notes. This felt familiar, like solving a puzzle, finding patterns in complicated things. I had worked as a school teacher for 40 years. I knew how to research and learn. 2 hours later, I found something called a seller rent-back agreement. This meant sellers could stay in their house for 30 to 60 days after selling it while the new buyers waited to move in. My pencil stopped moving. This was it. This was the answer. A legal way to sell the house while still living there. It gave me time to move out slowly while protecting the sale from anyone trying to stop it. Need help finding something? I looked up. A woman stood nearby. She had gray hair pulled back neatly. Kind eyes behind thin glasses. A volunteer badge pinned to her sweater. About 60 years old. She looked calm and smart. I'm looking for Oregon property laws about selling houses but staying in them for a while. Rent-back agreements. That's in section 346.7. Different section over here. She walked smoothly through the rows of books and pulled out exactly the one I needed. Legal research is hard if you don't know where to look. Thank you so much. I haven't been here in many years. The library never forgets people, even if they forget the library. She set the book in front of me. I noticed her hands. Steady. Capable. She wore a simple watch, nothing fancy. Dorothy. I volunteer here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm Margaret. She started to walk away, then stopped. She looked at my face with gentle concern. Forgive me for saying this, but you look troubled. Are you okay? The unexpected kindness made my eyes water. I'm just dealing with some family problems. Those are often the hardest kind. Family can love us and hurt us at the same time. That's exactly true. Her face showed understanding without pity. Well, whatever you're facing, learning about it is a good first step. I'll let you work now. I watched her walk away. Then I dove into reading about rent-back rules. Oregon allowed 60 days maximum. It required a written agreement that was legally binding. The seller kept all ownership rights until closing day. New owners couldn't move in early. Without permission. My notes grew longer and more detailed. Find a real estate lawyer. Quiet listing. Buyers who accept rent-back terms. Write down everything. The library's closing announcement surprised me. I had lost track of time. I gathered my materials and checked out 2 books using my old library card. Still worked after all these years. Dorothy was at the checkout desk stamping due dates on books. Did you find what you needed? I think I found a way forward. That's wonderful. Sometimes we just need to know what our options are. I hesitated, then spoke. Thank you. Really. Something passed between us. Understanding, maybe. 2 people both carrying heavy weights they didn't choose. The drive home felt different. Sunset. Painted the familiar streets in new colors. My mind worked through plans, timelines, what could go wrong. The teacher and me making lesson plans. I got home at 6:45. 15 minutes before Michael's deadline. The living room furniture had been moved around again. My chair now faced the wall like I was being punished. Michael came out of the kitchen with his arms crossed, blocking my path like a landlord talking to a bad tenant. We need to discuss some new rules. My stomach felt tight. What kind of rules? House rules. Nothing crazy. He counted them on his fingers like items on a shopping list. No using the living room after 8 o'clock at night. We need it quiet for work. Tell us 24 hours before bringing any visitors. No cooking after 7 o'clock. And keep your bedroom door closed. It looks neater that way. Each rule took away another piece of my freedom. Another piece of my life stolen. Lisa appeared behind him. Silent support. We're just trying to make this work for everybody, Michael continued. You understand, right? I understand perfectly. Something in my voice made Lisa's eyes look up sharply. But she said nothing. Michael, satisfied that I agreed, nodded and went back to his office. I walked to my small bedroom, closed the door like they required, sat on the bed. I spread my library books across the blanket like weapons for a war. My face became hard with determination. Attorney Sarah Martinez's office was on the 10th floor of a downtown Portland building. All glass and shiny metal. I had spent 2 weeks researching lawyers who handled real estate sales. I looked for someone who understood keeping secrets. Martinez's reviews talked about both skill and privacy. That's what I needed. The elevator climbed slowly. Floor numbers lit up one by one. My reflection stared back at me from the shiny doors. An older woman in a clean blouse, carrying a folder that held her future. This meeting would make everything real. No going back after this. The last 2 weeks replayed in my mind. Michael's satisfied smile when I followed his new rules. Lisa's coldness. The casual way they talked about my savings at breakfast like it was their money. Each memory made my decision stronger. The doors opened. Reception area. Nice photos on walls. Certificates in frames. Serious. Professional. Mrs. Cook. The receptionist smiled warmly. Ms. Martinez is ready for you. I followed her down a quiet hallway. Took a breath. Walked in. Martinez's office was organized but busy. Legal books on shelves. A large desk with neat stacks of folders. Client chairs positioned for talking, not arguing. The woman herself stood to greet me. Middle 50s. Gray hair at the sides. Sharp eyes behind wire glasses. Mrs. Cook, please sit. Your phone call mentioned a property issue. I sat and placed my folder on her desk. Starting was the hardest part. I need to sell my house without my family knowing until it's finished. Her face stayed calm. She had heard strange requests before. Tell me everything. I need the full story to help you properly. So I explained. My house. Bought it with my husband 32 years ago. My son and daughter-in-law moved in 4 years ago. Supposed to be temporary. Now they're charging me rent in my own home. Making rules. Basically pushing me out. Martinez listened carefully. Took notes. Asked exact questions. The property deed is only in your name. My husband left it to me when he died. They don't have a legal lease agreement. Nothing written down. You're paying rent without a rental contract. I pulled out the receipt Michael had written. Laid it on her desk next to the deed and my original house purchase papers. She looked at each document carefully. Her experienced eye caught details I had worried about. Mrs. Cook, you have every legal right to sell this house. It's your property. She leaned back, putting her fingertips together. People living there, without a lease or ownership, are legally just guests. They have no claim to the house. Relief and fear mixed in my chest. We'll need a private listing, she continued. Buyers who will accept a rent-back agreement. Oregon allows up to 60 days. You sell, close the deal, but stay living there for 2 months. During that time you find a new place and get ready to move. And they won't know. Until the new owners take legal possession. They'll get an eviction notice 30 days before they have to move out. I absorbed this information. How long does it all take? With the right buyers, 30 to 60 days to close the deal. Connect you with a real estate agent who handles private sales. She looked at her computer. Portland's housing market is strong right now. Your home in the West Side area. I estimate $880,000 to $920,000. After fees and costs, you'd get about $850,000. Enough to start over. Buy a smaller place or rent comfortably. Live on my own terms. Martinez's look became serious. I need to ask you something. Are you absolutely sure? This will hurt your family relationships. Maybe forever. They've already hurt our relationship. I'm just protecting what's mine. She nodded slowly. Then let's move forward. I'll have my assistant prepare the initial paperwork. Walking to my car afterward, I felt lighter and heavier at the same time. Things were moving now. No stopping them. Instead of driving straight home, I stopped at the Central Library. I wasn't really planning to. I just hoped she would be there. 3rd floor. Not at the volunteer desk. Sitting at a table with her laptop and some books. Dorothy looked up, saw me, and smiled with warmth I hadn't seen in my own house for years. Back for more property law research. No, I found what I needed. Are you working on something? Retirement planning, actually. Trying to figure out how to stretch my pension money. Talk. The conversation flowed easily this time. 2 people finding unexpected friendship. I mentioned my morning walks in Riverside Park. How the walking helped me think clearly. I love that park, she said. The rose garden is beautiful right now. A moment of possibility. Leap of faith. Maybe if you're there tomorrow morning around 9 by the fountain. She paused, thinking, then smiled. Could be there. A small smile passed between us. Something beginning. I got home later than usual. Just after 5. Walked in quietly. Heard voices from the kitchen. Michael and Lisa. They didn't know I was back. The kitchen renovation would add at least $50,000 to the house value, Michael was saying. Your mom's savings could pay for it. I froze in the hallway listening. She has that money just sitting there doing nothing, Lisa replied. It's wasteful. We should talk to her about investing it in house improvements. Make it sound like it helps her too. What about the garage? We could turn it into a rental unit. Even better. Another way to make money. This property is wasted on someone who doesn't appreciate it properly. I stood there, hidden, hearing every greedy word. They weren't just pushing me out. They were planning to take every dollar I had first. Every word proved my decision was right. I cleared my throat loudly on purpose. The conversation stopped. Guilty silence. I walked into the kitchen with a carefully blank face. I'm back. Going to my room now. Lisa forced brightness into her voice. How was your day, Margaret? Very educational. In my bedroom, door closed as required. I sat on the bed and pulled out Sarah Martinez's business card. Her direct phone number was written on the back in her handwriting. My hand stayed steady as I looked at it. The real estate agent's text came at 9 in the morning. Buyers confirmed for 2 o'clock showing. Are you sure about the timing? I was sure. Michael and Lisa had left for the beach the night before. A weekend trip I had suggested 3 weeks ago. You two work so hard, I said. Take a weekend getaway. My treat. I'll pay for part of the hotel. They accepted quickly, never questioning why I was suddenly so generous. Now the house was mine, completely mine, for 36 hours. I walked through the empty rooms. Opening curtains Michael had ordered kept shut. Turning on lights he said wasted electricity. In the living room, I moved his work papers aside and laid out my original house purchase documents on the dining table. The house felt different without them there. Could breathe again. My phone buzzed. Jennifer Park, the real estate agent. 30 minutes away. Family very interested based on photos. Texted back. I'm ready. The doorbell rang at exactly 2 o'clock. I opened it to find Jennifer with a family of 4. David and Susan Park. Warm handshakes. 2 teenagers trying to look bored but failing. Mrs. Cook, thank you for letting us see the house, Jennifer said. Shall we start? I led them through the rooms. David kept stopping to look at details most people missed. In the living room, he touched a window frame carefully. This is custom woodwork. Not regular construction. My husband and I designed this house together, I said carefully, letting my pride show. I was a teacher but he was a builder. His eyes brightened. I'm a contractor. The craftsmanship, these details, this is beautiful work. We connected over the house's features. I showed him the documents I had laid out. He leaned over them with hungry interest, understanding what we had built. Susan walked to the kitchen, testing how the space felt. She loved the natural light and the garden view. The teenagers went to check out the basement and backyard. The craftsmanship is incredible, David said, looking at the house plans. You don't see this quality anymore. I watched this family interact with my house. Really seeing it. Loving it. Something tightened in my chest. After the tour, they gathered in the living room, talking quietly. Jennifer pulled me aside to the kitchen. They absolutely love it. Want to make an offer. Kept my voice steady. What are they thinking? Full asking price. $900,000. Fast closing. 30 days if possible. My heart pounded but my face stayed calm. The rent back agreement. I explained it to them. 60 days after closing. They're fine with it. They're renting now anyway so they can wait. David walked over before I could respond. Mrs. Cook, this house is truly special. My wife and I have been searching for 9 months. This is the one. It's been my home for 32 years. We'll treasure it. His honesty was clear. I can see this was built with love. Susan joined us. The kids already picked out their rooms. That never happens. We talked about the offer. $900,000. 30-day closing. 60-day rent back. Few complications. Everything aligned perfectly. Too perfectly to refuse. I need to think about this, I said. It's not an easy choice. Jennifer being professional, course. Though I should mention in this market, houses like this don't last long. The Parks can have their deposit ready by Monday, Mrs. Cook, David said. I respect this is your home, but we would be honored to be its next family. Paused, letting the moment stretch. Let me talk to my lawyer. I'll have an answer by Monday. They left, teenagers already planning their rooms. I closed the door, leaned against it, realized my hands were shaking. 3 hours later my phone rang. Michael. Hey, Mom. Just checking in. Everything okay at the house? Everything's fine. Very quiet. Just reading. Funny thing. His voice had an edge to it. Mr. Johnson next door texted Lisa. Said he saw people at the house this afternoon. Couple with kids. My stomach dropped, but my voice stayed calm. Oh, that was an old friend from church. She wanted to show her family the house Robert and I built. Gave them a tour. You didn't mention having visitors over. I didn't think I needed permission. They were there for over an hour. The house rules say 24 hours notice for guests, Mom. They're old friends from church. It was last minute. Rules are rules. We'll need to talk about this when we get back. Actually, Lisa and I have been talking. We should make things more official. Get some legal paperwork done. Legal paperwork. We've invested a lot into that house. Improvements, maintenance. We should document our contribution. Protect our stake in things. I thought about this carefully. Michael was sensing something. Trying to establish a claim. That sounds reasonable. What kind of paperwork? Receipts for the work we've done. Maybe talk to a lawyer about equity sharing or something. Since we've been maintaining the place. You see. Well, if you want to talk to a lawyer, that's your right. But we'll set something up next week. Just want everything fair and legal, you know. Absolutely. Fair and legal matters. All right. We're going to dinner now. Keep the doors locked, Mom. The call ended. I sat quietly, thinking about Michael's move. He was trying to establish ownership before something happened. But it was too late. Papers were already moving forward with Martinez. I texted my lawyer. They're getting suspicious. Son talking about establishing equity claim through improvements. Martinez responded immediately. Let him try. Won't impact the sale. You're the sole owner per deed. Keep acting normal. Texted back. Understood. I looked around the living room. My living room. Darted. Counting days. The notary's office was small and plain. Not fancy like Sarah Martinez's office. But the papers spread across the desk were just as powerful. Closing papers. Title transfer. Seller disclosures. Each one I signed moved the house another step out of my name and into the Parks. The notary, Helen Walsh, stamped each page efficiently. Sign here. Initial here. Date here. My hand stayed steady despite how much this meant emotionally. This house was my dream. My creation with Robert. But signing it away felt necessary. Even right. That's everything. Mrs. Walsh gathered the papers. Closing date is August 10th. You'll get confirmation from escrow. The rent-back agreement is already filed. You have the right to stay until October 10th. 60 days after closing. I collected my copies. A folder full of legal separation from my past. Outside, afternoon sunlight felt sharp after the dim office. Dorothy sat on a bench with a book in her lap. She looked up and smiled. Real warmth. Not the fake performance I lived with at home. She stood and we hugged briefly. Natural affection. How did it go? It's finished. Really finished now. He took my arm. Come on. We have apartments to look at. Forward motion, not backward. In her car she asked, are you sure about this? Selling the house. 32 years. I put into that place. But the last 3 years. Erased what it meant to me. Sometimes we have to let go of what we built to build something new. I looked at her. This woman who appeared when I needed hope. Over the past 3 weeks, we had walked Riverside Park every morning. Coffee at the cafe by the fountain. Conversations about our lives. Her husband's death 8 years ago. My husband's death 4 years ago. Shared loneliness becoming companionship. 2 days ago we held hands for the first time. I couldn't do this without you. Yes, you could. But I'm glad you don't have to. We drove to Brookside, across town from my current neighborhood. The area charmed me immediately. Mall shops, tree-lined, streets, older homes turned into apartments. Tom, the rental agent, met us at the first property. Too cramped, too dark. The second apartment was better. 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor overlooking a courtyard. I walked through with my teacher's eye, checking everything. Kitchen was adequate. Living room had good light. Bedrooms were decent sized. Dorothy noticed. You're redesigning it in your head already. I smiled a little. Old habit. But yes, I could make this work. $1,800 per month, Tom said. Available September 1st. Dorothy, always practical. What about furniture? You're leaving with just your personal things. I'll need to buy everything new. But that actually sounds appealing. Starting fresh. We looked at a 3rd apartment, but the second one kept pulling me back. The Brookside Terrace. Tom noticed my interest. It's popular. If you want it, I need the application today. I'll take it. What do you need from me? The application process moved fast. References. Deposit. First month, last month, and security. Totaling $5,400. Credit check. I wrote the check from my savings. Not from the house sale yet. September 1st. Dorothy checked the date. That's soon. Days. Time to start packing. In her car outside the rental office, application complete, I turned to her. Dorothy, I need to tell you something about the house sale. My son and daughter-in-law don't know I'm selling. They won't know until the eviction notice arrives. She took this in calmly. That's quite a surprise you're planning. I explained the fuller picture. The rent demand. The rules. Feeling invisible in my own home. She listened without judging. Does that make me cruel? Not telling them. It makes you someone protecting yourself. They made their choices. This is yours. I keep thinking about Michael as a little boy. He wasn't always like this. People change. Sometimes the kindest thing is letting them face the results of their actions. I looked at her directly. I'm falling for you. Is that wrong? In the middle of all this chaos. Life doesn't wait for perfect timing. I'm falling too. We held hands across the car seats. What happens after August 10th? She asked. After they discover what happened. I move into my new apartment. Start over. With you if you'll be part of it. I'm already part of it. I got home late that afternoon. Michael stopped me immediately in the hallway. Where have you been? I needed to discuss something with you. Running errands. You need to start telling us where you go. We worry about you. I bit back my response. Just nodded. Anyway, Lisa and I made a decision. Starting this weekend, we need 24 hours notice before you use the kitchen on Saturdays and Sundays. We're meal prepping and need the space. The kitchen in my own house. House, Mom. We all live here. Sharing is important. Lisa appeared and stood next to Michael. Just weekends, Margaret. Be reasonable. I looked at my daughter-in-law. Saw a tiny bit of uncertainty in her eyes. But she wouldn't go against Michael. Fine. Whatever you need. Oh, and I scheduled a meeting with a property lawyer for Wednesday. To talk about our equity position. I hope that goes well for you. Michael missed the hidden meaning completely. It will. We have all our paperwork ready. I walked to my room, closed the door, and checked the calendar on my phone. August 10th circled in red. 19 days away. I counted down silently. August 10th arrived like a scheduled event. I sat in Sarah Martinez's conference room, watching her review the closing papers one final time before sliding them across the table. Outside the window, downtown Portland stretched toward the river. Inside this room, my house became someone else's property with each signature. This is it, Margaret. Martinez tapped the paper. Once you sign, the house goes to the parks. $900,000 minus closing costs and fees. You'll get about $847,000. I nodded and picked up the pen. The weight felt right. Each signature carried 32 years of memories. My husband and I designed every room of that house. Chose every paint color. built it planning our future together. But the last 3 years had poisoned what took decades to create. I signed carefully. Seller's deed, settlement statement, transfer papers. The title company person appeared on the video screen. All documents completed. Wiring instructions confirmed. Money will transfer within the hour. And the occupancy agreement, Martinez asked, filed and recorded. Mrs. Cook has the right to stay until October 10th. With early exit clause if she leaves sooner. I'll be out by September 20th. My voice stayed level. 10 days from now. Martinez made a note. After the title person disconnected, she leaned forward. You're certain about the timeline. You want the eviction notice delivered the day after you leave. September 21st gives them exactly 30 days. October 21st move-out date. Oregon law requires a minimum of 30 days for eviction without cause. This is legal and proper. Pause. How will it happen? The park's lawyer will send a certified letter, legally delivered when they receive it. The letter says the property was sold. New owners are taking possession. Current people living there must leave by the given date. And if they refuse to leave, then the parks file for eviction with the county. The sheriff delivers papers. They'll leave. Martinez studied my face. Margaret, are you ready for what happens after? Your son will be devastated. My son devastated me for 3 years. He made his choices. She accepted this and handed me my copies of the closing papers. My phone buzzed. Bank notification. $847,000. Deposited. Years of work turned into numbers. Now funding my escape. Done, I said. You're free. I got home early that afternoon. Michael's door was closed. He was on a work video call. Lisa sat at the kitchen table with her laptop, barely looking at me. I moved through the house like a ghost. Went to my small bedroom and began removing things systematically. I had been doing this for days in small amounts they hadn't noticed. Today I went faster. Clothes into suitcases. Books into boxes. The framed photo of Robert. The one they had removed from the living room. Wrapped carefully. My teaching awards from the closet. Personal papers from the drawer. Each item was a memory. A piece of myself they had tried to erase. Carried 2 boxes to my car. The trunk was already half full from earlier trips. Came back for more. Lisa glanced up as I walked through the kitchen. Moving things around, Margaret. Just organizing. Getting rid of clutter. But less mess is always better. She went back to her screen. Dismissive. I made 4 more trips while Michael stayed busy. By late afternoon, most of my important belongings were packed. Michael came out of his office around 6. Noticed my bedroom door open. Saw the room looking empty. Mom, what's going on here? I kept my voice carefully. Normal. Organizing. Throwing away things I don't need anymore. He walked into the room and looked around. Scanned the empty shelves. The half-empty closet. You're getting rid of a lot of stuff. I'm 68 years old. Don't need much. His eyes got suspicious. You're not planning something, are you? Like what? I don't know. You've been acting strange lately. Distant. Different. I'm following your rules. Staying out of the way. Isn't that what you wanted? He couldn't put his worry into words. But something felt wrong to him. Where do you go during the day? You're gone a lot lately. Library. Coffee. I have my own life still. Just seems suspicious. All this organizing. You're the one who wanted me to pay rent and follow rules. I'm doing exactly what you asked. He couldn't argue with that. But his worry stayed. Later that evening, dinner time got close. I cooked in the kitchen before the 7 o'clock deadline. Lisa came in and saw me making a simple meal for myself. You've been so quiet lately. Are you feeling all right? I'm fine. You just seem different. Less present. I looked at my daughter-in-law. Saw a stranger. Maybe I'm just tired, Lisa. Well, try to be more cheerful. Your mood affects the whole house atmosphere. I'll work on that. She left. Not satisfied but not caring enough to ask more. Finished. Cooking. Ate alone in my room according to the rules. Sat on the bed afterward. Looked around at the nearly empty space. 11 more days. I pulled out my phone and texted Dorothy. Closing complete. I'm officially free. 11 more days. She responded right away. My door is open whenever you're ready. I'm proud of you. I let myself smile a little. Tomorrow I would take more things. Day by day. Piece by piece. I was disappearing from this house. I looked at the calendar on my phone. September 20th circled in red. Counting down. September 20th came with clear skies and cool morning air. I woke before dawn in my nearly empty bedroom. Bare space showed what I had become in this house. A ghost who had already left. Michael and Lisa slept soundly in the master bedroom. My old bedroom. They had no idea this was the last morning they would wake up thinking the house was theirs. I dressed quietly in the early light. My last boxes sat stacked by the door. Car keys in my pocket. I pulled the envelope from my jacket. The note I had written 4 days ago. Opened it and read one final time. Michael and Lisa, I did what you asked. You told me to pay rent or find another place. Found another place. This is my notice that I'm moving out. Think about your actions and how you treated me in my own home. Short. No explanation of the sale. No feelings. Just facts. I folded the note back and wrote their names on the envelope. One final look around the room. This was Michael's childhood bedroom once. Then my exile. Now my past. I picked up the first box and carried it quietly to the front door. The house was silent except for Michael's soft snoring from the master bedroom. Made several trips, loading final boxes into my car. My entire life now mobile. I went back inside for a final walkthrough. Walked through the house in the dim morning light. Living room. Michael's desk stood where my reading chair used to be. Kitchen where they charged me rent to cook. Dining room where Michael gave his demand. Master bedroom door closed. Them sleeping in the room that was mine and Robert's. Each space held memories. Some good from 32 years ago. Recent ones were poisoned. This was my dream house. My achievement with Robert. But they had made it a prison. I went back to the kitchen and placed the envelope right in the middle of the table where they would see it first thing. Next to it I set my house keys. Front or back door. Garage. Keys I had held for 32 years. Letting them go felt both heavy and light. 6:15. Plenty of time before they woke. Took one breath. Opened the front door. Stepped out. Closed it quietly behind me. Didn't lock it. Not my house anymore in my mind. Walked to my car. Didn't look back. Started the engine. Pulled out of the driveway. Watched the house get smaller in my mirror as sunrise began. Drove toward Dorothy's neighborhood. 30. Lisa woke first. Stretched. Comfortable. Walked to the kitchen in her pajamas to make coffee. Saw the envelope on the table. Strange placement. Picked it up. Saw their names. Opened it. Read the note once. Didn't understand. Michael. 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 He came stumbling out groggy. What's wrong? She handed him the note, unable to speak. He read it confused. What does this mean? Find another place. Is this some kind of joke? Michael walked to Margaret's bedroom. Door open. Room empty. Completely empty. Empty closet. Empty shelves. Nothing personal left behind. Her stuff. It's all gone. Lisa joined him. Stared at the bare space. Where did everything go? This doesn't make any sense. When did she move at all? She's been doing that organizing thing for weeks. That must have been it. She was packing right under our noses the whole time. First reaction was anger. How dare she just leave without talking to us about it? This is so childish. Leaving a note like we're strangers, not family. Michael's face got hard. Good riddance, honestly. Now we have the whole house to ourselves. Lisa trying to convince herself. But it's actually better this way. More space for us. We should celebrate. She finally did something right. Left on her own. Next morning. September 21st. Michael got the mail. Bills. Advertisements. N1. Large certified letter. Sender Harrison and Associates, attorneys at law. On behalf of Park family. What's this? He opened it and started reading. His face turned white. What is it? Michael's voice shook as he spoke. Eviction notice. Whoa. This says the house was sold. Lisa grabbed the letter and read out loud. Notice of property sale and end of living rights. The property located at this address was sold by the legal owner, Margaret Cook, to David and Susan Park on August 10, 2025. Since you are not legal tenants or owners, you must leave the property by October 21, 2025. Failure to leave will result in formal eviction proceedings. Shocked silence. This is impossible. She can't sell the house. It's in her name. She designed it with her husband. Legally she owns it. But we live here. We have rights to this place. Do we? We never signed a lease. We just moved in as guests. Michael grabbed his phone and called the law firm number. The receptionist confirmed it. Property sold August 10th. All paperwork legal and filed. He demanded to speak to a lawyer. Got put on hold. The lawyer confirmed everything. Margaret Cook, sole owner, sold the property legally. New owners taking possession. Current people living there must leave in 30 days. We've put money into this house. Improvements. Repairs. Without ownership or a lease agreement, you have no legal claim. I suggest you start looking for new housing immediately. Michael ended the call. His face was white as paper. This can't be happening. Michael paced around, shock turning to anger. She planned this the whole time. When? How long has she been planning this? That's why she was acting so weird. The organizing. The empty room. Lisa's voice came out small. She sold the house. Her own house. A house. We've been here 3 years. Whoa. Lisa looked at the letter in her hands. It was her house. We were just guests living here. Guests who paid for renovations. Who fixed everything. Who maintained it all. Michael, we charged her rent. So what? She should have been helping with expenses. We charged her rent in her own house. That's not the point here. That's exactly the point. That's why she did this to us. Lisa tried calling Margaret. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Same thing. She blocked us. I'm calling a lawyer. We'll fight this in court. Lisa's voice was quiet and scared. With what money? In 30 days. Michael's anger hit reality. They couldn't afford a lawyer. Couldn't afford to find new housing quickly. Had no legal standing to fight. Lisa sat at the kitchen table holding the eviction notice. Michael called property lawyers. They all said the same thing. No case. You must leave. She stared at Margaret's note on the table. Think about your actions and how you treated me in my own home. She finally understood what they had done. 4 days after getting the eviction notice, Michael was still calling every property lawyer in Portland. I knew this because Dorothy showed me the voicemails he left on my old phone. The one I stopped using the day I left. His voice went from angry demands for answers to trying to bargain to barely hidden panic. I sat in Dorothy's living room. Afternoon light coming through the windows. My old phone buzzing on the coffee table again. Dorothy looked up from her book. How many times is that now? 18 since yesterday. 15 from Michael. 3 from Lisa. Are you going to answer eventually? Let them think about it first. The phone buzzed again. 19th. Oh, Michael. Picked it up this time. Took a breath. Answered. Yes, Michael. Explosion of noise. His voice high and panicked and furious. What did you do? You sold the house. How could you do this to us? My voice stayed neutral and calm. I used my legal right as the property owner. You can't just sell someone's home out from under them. It was my home, Michael. You were guests who stayed too long. We have rights. We've been there 3 years. We've put money into it. You have no rights, no lease, no ownership, no claim. I checked with my lawyer. Your lawyer. His voice cracked. You planned this whole thing. When? How long have you been planning it? Does it matter now? Done. The house sold August 10th. You got proper legal notice. Rage and desperation mixed in his voice. We'll sue you. We'll prove you're not thinking clearly. You're old. You don't understand what you did. This came into my voice. I passed a mental evaluation given by a licensed doctor. My lawyer required it. I have papers proving complete mental ability. You have nothing. This is insane. You can't do this to your own son. My son did this to himself. You both did. You charged me rent in my own house, Michael. Made rules about when I could cook. When I could use rooms I designed. You treated me like a burden you could get money from. That was just helping with expenses. We needed help. You needed to control me. Now you have 30 days. Use them wisely. His voice broke into pieces. Mom, please. We have nowhere to go. No money for deposits on a new place. You're destroying us. No, Michael. I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. He screamed something I couldn't understand. The line went dead. I set the phone down on the table. Dorothy came over and sat beside me. Took my hand. 30 minutes passed. The phone rang again. Lisa. I thought about not answering. But this was my daughter-in-law. I had known her for 7 years. Lisa. She was crying. Margaret, please. This has to be a mistake. A misunderstanding. We can fix this. My heart hurt at hearing her cry. But I stayed firm. It's not a mistake. I sold the house legally and on purpose. But why? Why didn't you tell us? We could have discussed it. When Lisa. Between Michael demanding rent or you. Telling me to be quieter. When would we have talked? We didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. You meant every rule. Every demand. Every time you dismissed me. Margaret, I'm sorry. We're both so sorry. We'll change everything. Just stop the sale. You can stop it, right? The sale closed over a month ago. The money is in my account. It's over and done. Desperation rose in her voice. Where will we go? We don't have money for first month, last month, and deposit on a rental. Housing in Portland is so expensive now. You have a month to figure it out. That's more time than you would have given me if I couldn't pay your rent. That's different. You're Michael's mother. Exactly. I'm his mother. And you both treated me like an ATM machine and an unwanted guest in my own home. Sobbing now, hard and broken. Please, Margaret. Please. We'll do anything you ask. My voice came out tired. There's nothing to do now, Lisa. Learn from this. Treat people with respect. Especially people who love you. I ended the call and set the phone down. Dorothy squeezed my hand tight. That was harder than you expected. Because I still care about them. But I can't save them from themselves. Over the next few days, I learned through mutual friends about their desperate search. Different lawyers. Same answer from all of them. No case. Sale was legal. Must leave or face the sheriff. Michael tried claiming a verbal lease agreement. The lawyer told him verbal agreements meant nothing without proof. And they didn't apply to family living arrangements anyway. They searched rental listings. 3-bedroom houses in nice areas. $3,500 to $4,000 monthly. 2-bedroom apartments in good neighborhoods. $2,800 to $3,200. 1-bedroom apartments in areas they liked. $2,000 to $2,400. But too small for all their belongings. Reality crashed down hard. They needed to get rid of things. Live smaller. Michael blamed Lisa. Her mother-in-law did this because you didn't stop me from making those rules. Lisa blamed Michael. You were the one who demanded rent. I told you it might backfire on us. Their relationship broke under the pressure. Arguments got worse. Michael stopped looking for work. Depressed and angry. Lisa cried all the time. Lost and overwhelmed. Several days after the phone calls, Dorothy asked me, "Do you regret it?" Selling the house. I thought carefully before answering. I regret that it came to this point. But no. I don't regret protecting myself. What if Lisa reaches out again? really changes who she is. If she truly changes, learns respect, and rebuilds herself as a person, maybe someday we can have a relationship again. But she needs to do that work herself. I can't do it for her. I looked around Dorothy's cozy living room. Plants everywhere. Music playing softly. Warmth. I spent 3 years making myself smaller to fit their idea of what I should be. Now I'm growing again. You're different from when we met at the library that day. Lighter somehow. I was carrying their contempt and disrespect. Now I'm only carrying my own life. We kissed briefly. Comfortable and real and honest. The phone rang. Known number. I looked at it. Didn't recognize it. Let it go to voicemail. Think it's them. Probably using someone else's phone to try to reach you. I turned the phone completely off and set it aside. I'm not answering anymore. We started cooking dinner together. Laughter from the kitchen. My old life fading away. New one growing strong. The last week of August felt strange in how ordinary it was. I had moved into my Brookside apartment September 1st. By month's end, Dorothy and I had daily routines. Morning coffee on the balcony. Evening walks by the river. Her teaching me how to paint with watercolors. Meanwhile, across town, Michael and Lisa were packing their lives into boxes. Facing the reality of a cheaper apartment in a neighborhood they had once looked down on. I didn't visit the house. Didn't drive by. That chapter was closed and finished. My apartment suited me perfectly. Small 2-bedroom space. And a second room where I had started tutoring students online. Work I loved coming back naturally. The space was honest and true. Clean and simple. Furniture I chose. My original house photos framed on the walls. Dorothy helped me arrange books on new shelves. Music playing softly in the background. I put together the last bookcase, working with tools that felt right in my hands again. This place suits you perfectly, she said. It's honest. No rules about when I can cook dinner. No quiet hours enforced. Just mine. Hers maybe. I'm here often enough now. I smiled warmly. Hers then. My phone rang. Unknown number again. They're still trying to reach you. Different phones every time. You don't have to answer it. No. And I won't. Across town, Lisa sat surrounded by moving boxes everywhere. Michael cursed in another room about furniture that wouldn't fit in their new apartment. She held a photo she had found while packing. Margaret from her wedding day. Margaret's face was proud and loving and kind. She had been crying for days now. Really seeing what they had done wrong. The memories played through her mind on repeat. Margaret bringing expensive groceries to make them happy. Her criticizing small things. Margaret following ridiculous kitchen rules. Eating alone in her room like a stranger. Charging Margaret rent. Her own mother-in-law. For living in her own house. That morning when they found the note, dismissing it as childish and dramatic. Michael had influenced her thinking. But she had let him. Made her own choices. Participated willingly. Watched Margaret shrink smaller and smaller. Michael yelled from the other room. Lisa, these boxes won't pack themselves. Get in here. She made a decision right then. She needed to see Margaret. Apologize face to face. In person. Not for forgiveness necessarily. Just because it was the right thing to do. She texted a mutual friend from church. I need Margaret's address. Please. I know I don't deserve it. But I need to see her and apologize properly. An hour later she got the address. Brookside Terrace. Warning message. She seems truly happy, Lisa. Don't ruin that for her. I just need to apologize. Really and truly apologize. Next day late afternoon my doorbell rang. Dorothy and I were having tea together. Peaceful moment interrupted by the bell. I checked the door camera. New habit for safety. Lisa stood there looking small and defeated. My chest felt tight. It's Lisa. Do you want me to stay or leave? Say please. I need you here. I opened the door slowly. Lisa looked older somehow. Eyes red from crying. Posture humble and broken. Margaret, can we talk? Please. I paused, then stepped aside. Come in. She entered and saw Dorothy. Recognized she was important to me. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you had company here. This is Dorothy. Dorothy, this is my daughter-in-law, Lisa. Dorothy offered her hand kindly. Lisa shook it. Saw kindness in Dorothy's eyes. The kindness they had denied me for years. We sat in the living room together. Awkward silence filled the space. Lisa struggled to find words to start. Margaret, I came to apologize. Really and truly apologize. Not to ask for anything back. Just to say I'm sorry for everything. I listened with a neutral face. Not cold but not warm either. I've been thinking about everything we did to you. How we treated you. The rent demand. The ridiculous rules. Taking over your house like it belonged to us. Making you feel unwanted in your own home. I stayed silent, letting her speak her piece. I was so caught up in Michael's anger about losing his job. His need to control something in his life. And I let him do it. I participated in it. I watched you become smaller and quieter. And I told myself you were just being difficult and stubborn. She cried fully now, tears streaming down her face. You're Michael's mother. You raised him alone after his father died. You gave him everything he ever had. And I helped him repay you by treating you like you were in the way of our lives. My voice came out quiet and measured. You did exactly that. I know sorry will never be enough. I know I destroyed something precious between us. But I need you to know I see it now. I see clearly what we did to you. I took a deep breath. Dorothy's presence beside me steadying my heart. Lisa, I love Michael. He's my son. And that will never change. But love doesn't mean accepting mistreatment and disrespect. She nodded, wiping tears with her sleeve. For 3 years you and Michael erased me from my own life. You removed my photos and my chair and my space. You charged me rent like I was a burden to bear. You made rules about when I could cook in the kitchen I had designed with my husband. No. I know all of that now. What hurt most wasn't the rent money itself. It was the contempt in your eyes. The way you looked through me, not at me. Like I was furniture that didn't match your style. I'm so sorry, Margaret. I needed to protect myself. To remember I had value as a person. That's why I sold the house and started over. She looked at me closely. Really looked. You look happy. Happier than I've seen you in years. I glanced at Dorothy sitting beside me. I'm happy. I'm building a life that respects who I am as a person. Don't deserve your forgiveness. But maybe someday if I do the hard work and change how I treat people, maybe we could try again. Maybe someday. If you truly change. Learn to respect other people. Especially people who love you. Build a life that doesn't require making someone else smaller. Michael and I, we're not doing well together. Moving to a tiny apartment. Fighting all the time. I think we might separate soon. That's between you and Michael. But Lisa, don't build a relationship on controlling another person. That's not love. That's something else entirely. She stood up to leave. Broken but maybe starting to heal inside. Thank you for seeing me today. For listening to what I had to say. I walked her to the door slowly. At the threshold she turned back. I love you, Margaret. Even though I don't deserve to say it. I love you too. But I need distance right now. Focus on yourself. Become someone you can respect. She left quietly, carrying her broken pieces. 1 week later, October 21st arrived. The Park family moved into the house. I didn't drive by to watch. Didn't need to see it. But I knew it was happening. I imagined David and Susan excited and grateful. Teenagers running through rooms choosing which was theirs. A family appreciating the craftsmanship Robert and I created. That evening on my balcony with Dorothy. Sunset painting the sky beautiful colors. Today was moving day. The Parks are in the house now. How do you feel about it? Sad for what that house used to be. Relieved for what it stopped being. Hopeful for what it will become again with them. And us. How do you feel about us? Like I'm finally living my life instead of just existing through days. We sat in comfortable silence, holding hands. A week later, early October, downtown music store. I surprised Dorothy with a gift. You mentioned your old guitar was lost in your move years ago. Time you had one again. She protested gently. Too expensive, Margaret. I sold a house, remember? I can afford this easily. The salesman helped us choose carefully. Acoustic guitar. Beautiful rich tone. Dorothy played a few notes, testing it. Her face lit up with pure joy. I watched her happiness. This is what money should do. Be joy. Not control people or buy power over them. We arranged delivery. To her apartment. Walked out holding hands like teenagers. I had lost a house and a working relationship with my son. But I had gained myself back. And found someone who saw me as I truly am. Not as a resource to use up. Dorothy's laugh. I smile. Sunset light golden and warm. Guitar music imagined in our future. Life moving forward with hope. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video. Subscribe to Granny's Voice. And share your thoughts about this story in the comments below. To listen to another story, click on the video on the left side of your screen. Thank you so much for watching.